Greyhound Racing's Night of Nights. It's the 2021 Victorian Greyhound Awards. I'm your MC for the night, Molly Haynes. As an industry, we operate across the state of Victoria, and I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we all gather here today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here and watching today. Now tonight, it's our second virtual Victorian Greyhound Awards, so I welcome you to my lounge room. Since the beginning of 2021, we have had to make some pretty drastic changes in the way in which we all operate, and I think it's fantastic that we can celebrate everyone who makes our industry tick, from the owner, the breeders, the trainers, the club managers, the club staff, and everyone in between. And I'm so glad we can celebrate you all here tonight. Now, I want to see you all. See you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So make sure you use the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. The last racing season has held some of the best racing we have ever seen. And now I want everyone to take a look at some of those highlights.
Those two runners go in, they're locked in, loaded now. The green light's on, we'll soon know. 50 grand to the winner here. They're set for the cup. Racing, Shimmer Shine a bit slow, and Yozo Bale flew out in the centre. Hardstyle Rico slow to go, and there's Slingshot Titan going through to grab the lead now. They turn Slingshot Titan, Yozo Bale, Shimmer Shine to the outside and Tig Along Tom. Here's a go, Yozo Bale in front. Yozo Bale, a big upset. Yozo Bale has beaten Tig Along Tom and third Shimmer Shine.
All box, green light is on, ready for the Fireball final. Racing, slowest out He Shall Power, True Detective away well, is going to push forward and cross Thriving onto the first turn. Thriving trying hard in second placing, Sunset Burbsky runs onto the outside, but True Detective kicked off the turn. True Detective wins the Fireball. Pit Transport Maturity Classic, green light is on. Racing, Simon Told Helen broke okay, driving for Tig Along Tonkin, Hardstyle Rico tucks in third, the inside of Playlist as they run the first turn. Hardstyle Rico gives pursuit in second, Christo Bale around the turn, Simon Told Helen led, Hardstyle Rico a length away, Simon Told Helen wins the Maturity, 1 and a length and a quarter.
Welcome to Greyhound Racing Victoria's Night of Nights. It's the 2020 Victorian Greyhound Awards.
That the Victorian 2019-2020 Greyhound of the Year is Whiskey Rye.
Sandra, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're absolutely thrilled, and we just couldn't be prouder of Whiskey Riot. He's just an amazing animal, and we're just so privileged and honoured to be his owner.
And they're off and chasing, and a great start is displayed by Pure Magic to lead early on. A half approaching the line, it's Making Gravy. Making Gravy by 2 on the line, defeating Pure Magic, 16 and 80 for the run.
Ready for the great straight race, the Hillsville Cup, stand by. Away and Racing and Zamboralu began quickly, and then Power of Oscar, Tin Shed, Fred Tigalong top well back. The leader Zamboralu kicked away. Power of Oscar starting to fly. It's Zamboralu in front though. Zamboralu wins the Hillsville Cup in control from the outset. Won it by Leek. Away and Racing and equalises, slow to begin. Sovereign Wind away quickly. They're jamming up early. Dr. Tucker's going to get the fly. And then Sovereign Wind, the other quartet have jammed up. Carry on Maxwell, Paint Peeler. They're clear to Sovereign Wind, but as they turn, it's all Dr. Tucker. And he's going to win the Great Chase in dazzling fashion.
Racing and Simon Told Helen jumped away okay. Guardiola back on the inside, the leader. Simon Told Helen is scorching from near the outside. They're followed by Bobby the Brute. A gap on the race at a Guardiola Bale, followed by Sweet as Him and back to the tail of the field. And Simon Told Helen, the leader, 3 lengths out in front. Tigalong Tonk the inside, Bobby the Brute. But it's Simon Told Helen, just what the doctor ordered.
To go, green light, ready for the silver bullet, stand by for a start. Away and Racing and Simon Told Helen began fast, the champ, he's looking to come across, he's going to get held up and Hardstyle Rico got the fly. Hardstyle Rico turned up the heat 3.5 lengths and booted clear. As they turn, it's a one-act affair and Hardstyle Rico's going to rock the silver bullet in. Hardstyle Rico won it by 5 minutes. Brett and I, they're set to go now for the Group 1 Hume Cup. Away and Racing and Last Hurrah began fast from 3. He's going to cross over and take the lead, settling down by 3 lengths to 0. Cool, and there's Christo Bale on the scene. Last Hurrah, the leader from Brett and I, 3 lengths in front, well clear into the straight in the Hume Cup, and Last Hurrah's going to run them ragged. Last Hurrah won at 3 lengths.
Racing, Sunset Burbs got a bit slow to begin, dropped out the back there in company with Rockstar Beaver. Away fast there is Sir Truculent, raced away 3 in front. They were followed by Rockstar Beaver and Sunset Burbs get the tail. Out of the straight though, and the leader was Sir Truculent. Going up on the inside, Just Terms, 3-way Tornado Tears, followed by Rockstar Beaver. Just Terms and Tornado Tears getting right up on the inside. Tornado Tears burst to the lead, Tornado Tears won it from... Running of the race, set to go, ready. Racing, Tommy Shelby out fast on the inside there with Shimmer Shine. Going up quickly there, we're doing Golden Knight and Simon Told Helen driving a length or so clear. Simon Told Helen, it's Shimmer Shine clear, and Shimmer Shine's going to win the Tab Top Gun. Second spot to go to Simon Told Helen, followed by Christo Bale third.
Good morning, it's thrill of the chase time. Greyhound racing like you've never seen it before.
Premiership star Ryan Pappenhausen, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
GRV board member and former AFL great Emmett Dunn. Hello to you, Emmett.
Stay safe. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to catching you next time here on Thrill of the Chase.
Away and racing, and Houdini Boy midfield to go, and Blazing Cartier away quickly, tackled by Manila Knight, and there's Houdini Boy. The lead, here's Sir Truculent winding up. It's as they turn Manila Knight, Houdini Boy. It's still Manila Knight. Manila Knight won the bold trees all of the way, a half set to go for the TAP Melbourne Cup. Stand by. Away and racing, and Simon Told Helen began okay. Hardstyle Rico won the start, and he's looking to cross, and cross he does. Hardstyle Rico led them clearly. 3 lengths away, Tough Tears, Tig along top, then Shimmer Shine. But Hardstyle Rico stretches them out, led it 4 lengths in the Melbourne Cup to Simon Told Helen, and then Tommy Shelby. But it is all Hardstyle Rico, and he is going to absolutely bolt the Melbourne Cup in. Hardstyle Rico by 5 lengths.
People love my story about me and Patsy.
Matt and Apache are doing really well together.
Well, what's harder, bringing up puppies or bringing up babies?
I think it's on par.
It's really an exciting time to get behind the Gippsland region, Peter.
Oh, absolutely. We've done such a great job through COVID, and now we're rolling into the Gippsland Carnival.
For the 2020 Ballarat Cup, the green light is on and we're set to go. Racing, Yozo Bale came out pretty well as the early leader, showing speed too was Fortuna Bale. Special Talents running in second, down the outside Fortuna Bale. It's still Yozo Bale in front, and Yozo Bale will beat Special Talent. Fortuna Bale, and then fourth will be Daniel Avocado.
And away. And Arizona Eye stepped okay. Bobby the Brute showing pace. Here's a move from Webleck Ace going forward, and Last Hurrah judged the first time. 3 deep Houdini Boy after Bobby the Brute. Last Hurrah, here's a go. Houdini Boy's flying. Houdini! Houdini Boy has got up to win the cup in a brilliant turn of foot over the closing stages from Last Hurrah.
Silver Chief final set, about to go. Racing away fast there, Pavigo fast on the inside. Round to the front, down the straight with the left to go over. Late kicked away, and it's the Mapunga Marvel. Going on to win it from Lakeview Wilder from Tyler Durden.
And away. Good start. Outlast Equaliser as expected and showing pace. Aston Gwen tonight led. Catch the Thief settles fourth, and Aeroplane Eric's gone through, took the front. Further back to Catch the Thief, also zipping Zabo and Amarillo Highway. Well, can Aeroplane Eric take it out? He's on the runway. Equaliser is flying, but Eric has won. Aeroplane Eric has just lasted.
Just about set for the Backman's Greyhound Supplies Cranbourne Cup, and there's the green light. Racing, lots of chatter on the inside, got out quite swiftly. Jack's Bale shows tremendous pace out wide. Then on the inside was Equaliser trying to rail. A bit deeper was Squiggle keeping. Jack's Bale doing it beautifully in the cup. It's about 7 or 8 in front. Equaliser's giving chase and works into the Quinella spot. Around the corner, Jack's Bale is still 2 lengths in front, and it's Jack's Bale's Crampon Cup. Equaliser second.
They're set to go, the Zoom top. They're ready, set, racing. Houdini Boy jumped away okay out the back. Early Sunset Bursky, a great battle for the lead here. And Zach Manelli's going to take the lead clearly at the top of the straight the first time. Here comes Houdini Boy, poised to strike on the outside. Moving up quickly, Houdini Boy dashed the lead. Stanley Road's late at the end. Houdini Boy is safe just from Stanley Road on the Zoom top, followed by Sunset Bursky. Rookie Rebel about to happen. They're set. Ready. Racing. Fernando Cas out in a hurry there. So too is Mapunkarala near the inside. Next over on the inside there came Corbin. Footrod followed then by Webley Gaze. Third last to the back. Wallback then came Aberwine. Fernando Cas second. Followed by Wallbanger who's third. Fernando Cas moving up the tackle. Mapunkarala. Fernando Cas hit the front and won it. Second spot would go to Corbin. Footrod I'd say. Followed by Mapunkarala. Ready to go, set for start on the turn lead. They're ready, set, racing, and Shimmer Shine on the outside began okay. Speed from Tiggerlong Tonk going forward there with Yozo Bale. Posted Shimmer Shine on the first turn, and Wow dashed around the outside and went up and take over now from Tiggerlong Tonk. Tali out Faithy Bale into the straight. Wow is clear. Yozo Bale going up on the inside, but it's Wow! Wow, what a win in the turn lead. Set to go, 100,000 to the winner here. They're set. Racing, Houdini Boy a fraction slow to begin away fast. Run like Jess on the inside to lead from Zach Manelli. Sunset Bursky back at the tail. Well back as Sir Truculent. In country with Belver and Stanley Road. A lap to go. Zach Manelli leaving home between there. Sunset Bursky from well back. Stanley Road raced up, took the lead. And it's Stanley Road for the Fanta Bale. Australian Cup about to go. They're ready. Set. Racing. Fernando Bluey out past Tommy Shelby. A little bit slow to begin. Fernando Blue going past Utah Blues the inside, followed by Shimmer Classic. 6 lengths away, then came Utah Blues, followed by Lakeview Cruiser. Then came Tiggerlong Tonk and back at the tail, Tyler Durden. Up on the outside goes Tommy Shelby. Now up to tackle Fernando Bluey. Fernando Bluey and Tommy Shelby. Here's a great go. Tommy Shelby. I think Tommy's just won the cup for Fernando Bluey. A gap away third to be Lakeview Cruiser, followed by Christo Bale. And then came Utah Blues, followed by... They're set to go. The green light's on. Bat to run on the cup. Racing and Shimmer Shine a fraction slow to begin away fast on the inside there. Jack's Bale. Up goes the favourite now. Shimmer Shine right around the outside. About 4 lengths further back in the race. Mr. Rigger. Artsy Secret is well back in the race. Followed by Aston Cade. And Fabriel is out in the straight. And Shimmer Shine is the leader. Clear over Jack's Bale. And Shimmer Shine. He's the brightest out. And he bedazzled in the run home. And won by about 4 lengths.
And close to a start, the Sea Cage Painting Shepparton Cup final of 2021. Favourite Catch the Thief here for Jason Thompson. They're set, racing, and Catch the Thief a tad slow, and it's Paddy Go Fast, the first out to lead over Ferdinand Boy, who moves up. Ferdinand Boy takes the lead in the cup and goes 4 clear on the bend. Over Paddy Go Fast, further back than Catch the Thief. Ben Chester running on well, down the straight, it's Ferdinand Boy's cup. Second goes
the launching pad of 2021. Stand by. Away and racing, and Aston Rupee out fast from the outside. Destruction away quickly, and there's Hadouken going out. Aston Rupee's closing 2 lengths away. Kuro Kismet in front from Aston Rupee, who drives but missed. Kuro Kismet won the launching pad a half a length over Aston Rupee.
The Bottle Ballarat Cup final. Green light is on. Racing. Slow out was Shiller Classic. Missed it by a length, and Ferdinand Boy left running from out deep. Well back the Bullets here, Oriental Amber and Aston Gwen. On the turn, it's Ferdinand Boy burning along. He's 4 lengths in front. Bound to succeed charging with Fortuna Vale. But Ferdinand Boy won the cup. He beat Fortuna Vale. Bound to succeed. Set for the cup. Racing. Weblick Ace away okay. Weblick Jet won the start. Will drive on and go to the lead. Weblick Jet the leader, a length and a half. Yozo Bale, they put 4 on Sweet as M. It's Weblick Jet out by 3. Yozo Bale trying hard there. 4 clear on Sweet as M. Weblick Jet cornered clear. Weblick Jet won the Geelong Cup. Beat Yozo Bale.
They're all secured away. The green light on for the Macy's Bistro Warrnambool Cup. Racing, Shimmer Shine got out reasonably well from box number 5, showing pace. The kennel mate Quara Bale. Mapunga Warrior and Denzel Barber around the corner. It's Quara Bale. Quara Bale's well out in front in the Warrnambool Cup, and it's all Quara Bale. Sails away 4 lengths. Yozo Bale and Shimmer Shine.
The girls are ready in the Sapphire. Away and Racing and Shimmer Classic out fast. The favourite's going to burn early and lead them clearly by a length and a half. Carry On Star to third. Fanta Bale out wider. And Shimmer Classic's out and running, led by 5 lengths to Carry On Star. Turns by 2 lengths to Carry On Star. Fanta Bale storming home down the outside. It's Fanta Bale to win the Sapphire. Fanta Bale won it by a length. And the lads are ready now for the Harrison Dawson. Set to go at Group 1. Green light, ready to run. Away and Racing, Shimmer Shine, all good to go. Away very quickly, Catch the Thief from the centre's going to cross over. Well back now to Lakeview, Walter, Equaliser and Shimmer Shine last off the back. Still Catch the Thief in front. Tig-along Tonk's levelling up as they turn. Tonk takes the lead and it's Tig-along Tonk to win the Harrison Dawson. Placed away for the premier staying race, the RSN Sandown Cup. Green light, ready to go. Racing now, Zach Manelli began well from the inside. Tyler Durden's going to charge across though. Tyler Durden takes the lead early in the Sandown Cup, followed then by Stanley Road, We the People and Kenny the Brute last. Tyler Durden sets a cracking tempo. Well back to Maggie Moo Moo, We the People and Kenny the Brute last. Broken clear to Stanley Road as they turn. The rail now for Zipping Rambo. Goes through in the Sandown Cup to take the lead. Late Stanley Road. Zipping Rambo won the Sandown Cup.
GRV are really proud today to be in the Pride March, and we had our adopted dogs marching with us who were the hit of the show, but it just shows GRV's commitment to diversity and inclusion, LGBTQI community and all communities in fact. So this is just one aspect of what we're doing around community engagement in this particular part of the community. And when we walk through that parade, everyone, dare I say every man and his dog, wants to get a photo with our beautiful dogs, so it's fantastic.
Behind the boxes, and they're about to move in $75,000 to the winner for the Pink Diamond Short Course. They're set, they're ready, and they're racing. And Aussie Secret flew out on the inside, but Run and Carry show speed. Got it all to do, but Aussie Secret might be off and gone here. It's well in front, and Aussie Secret will bolt in. Wins it by 4.5 over Dr. Knuckles. They're loading away now for race number 6. This, the second of the Champions Finals, the distance series, and they're racing. Beginning well, 5-star. He's got good speed and he's going to fly across and find the front unchallenged. It's 5-star, 4 lengths in front. Trying hard down the outside was Floral Lace, and on the inside, drum roll please. They go to the line and 5-star wins it. It's the race we've been looking forward to all night, all week in fact. This is the final of the Pink Diamond Champion Sprinter. They're set to go. Set. Racing, coming out well, Shimmer Shine, shows early speeds, holds the rail and will lead, but Hazy Roy's across from the outside. What a finish, it's a Shimmer Shine. Aston Rupee's trying hard, but Shimmer Shine shines like a diamond. Shimmer Shine won the final, beat Aston Rupee. Third was close, Catch the Thief got up and beat home Hazy Roy.
Coming up shortly, we'll be having a chat with GRV Chair Peter Duncan. Welcome back to the 2021 Victorian Greyhound Awards. I would now like to introduce GRV Chair Peter Duncan to speak about the year that was. Hello Peter, and welcome to our virtual Victorian Greyhound Awards after what has been quite an interesting year.
It's been a massive year. Who thought we'd be doing virtual again this year? We were all set to go to have a bit of a celebration really after the year that all of the Victorians have been through. But here we are in lockdown again. But the award winners tonight, they're very real. So it's just been a massive journey for us in Victoria. I think that's fair to say. And I just can't thank our participants, our clubs, our volunteers, all of our staff at GRV and everyone associated with the industry to keep us racing uninterrupted through yet another lockdown cycle. So we've got the sort of half a dozen now, we're up to lockdown number 6, but we have been able to keep racing amongst other things that we've done through the year. But we're doing it virtually. We've got to celebrate the good times, even though it's been absolutely, detrimental to our state being in lockdown for the 6th time. And I think we're up to about 240 days in total we've done lockdown. But thank you, everyone. I really appreciate the fact that, you've just kept us on the track and we've just kept racing.
What do we have to look forward to? It's been, like you mentioned, a pretty tough couple of years. What do we have to look forward to from now on?
Look, I think there's always something to look forward to, but obviously we've just done another prize money increase up to 63.3 million, which will run through to June 30 next year, depending on how the wagering holds up over the next 12 months. We've got the Traralgon track opening soon, which is just going to be absolutely outstanding. And we've had great feedback from trainers who are excited to go back and race at Traralgon. And to Steve Clark and Don Hanley and the team there, they have been sensational throughout this project. So congratulations to them. And we've just got many, many dogs to keep adopting out, which is fantastic. And there's just the Pink Diamond again will roll around. We've got the Phoenix, which is going to be the hottest race in Australia, I think. And we just announced the slot holders last week, and it's sensational that we were able, or the committee, I had no involvement in that, but the committee were able to make it a truly national race. And I know there's a lot of excitement in the other jurisdictions. And never let it be said that we're not collegiate with our other cousins in other jurisdictions. Of course, we're competitive on one hand, but collegiate on the other. So it's just fantastic to have Race in Queensland, GRNSW, Jabota in New South Wales, Racing and Wagering Western Australia to come on board for the Phoenix. And of course, we've got Ray Border, SEN with Craig Hutchinson, who's a massive supporter of our sport, and TAB is the naming sponsor, which is just absolutely excellent. They're partnering up with us, and of course Sportsbet. So it's going to be something to behold, I think, in December, and a lot of excitement leading up to who are going to be the 8 dogs going for the $750,000.
I know I'm certainly really excited to experience and touch on almost the trade talk behind what the Phoenix is going to bring to greyhound racing. But we spoke about the competitiveness that us as Victorians have. What about the competitiveness of some of our best greyhounds? Do you have a favourite dog that's graced our presence in the past 12 months?
Look, I don't want to pick favourites because then I'll get 300 texts from people saying, what about my dog? And I don't like to do that. But, there are some highlights, of course. And Shimmer Shine obviously was one of the fastest dogs in Australia prior to retirement, an absolute poster child for our sport, and really showcased the quality of the Victorian dogs we have here. And David Gleeson is just an absolute champion, and a really, I'm just delighted he had a dog like that, and he puts a lot of effort into his dogs. Who can forget Tiggerlong Tonk, always the bridesmaid for Group 1, and then off to Perth he goes, and he finally gets that Group 1, and he's just a consistent and really great dog. And of course, everybody knows my favourite is Tommy Shelby, and for him to come over here and win, the Easter Egg in New South Wales, the Australian Cup, the Hobart 1000, just a phenomenal dog. But not only that, the backstory to what Steve and Kira and the kids and Michael Harders and Jody had to go through to get the dog in and out of different states during COVID, and they just kept going. It's all credit to them, and not to mention the fact that they've donated quite a lot of money through Tommy Shelby to charities, which is just fantastic. And there should be more of that, I think, you know, where owners and connections get together and say, let's give something back to the broader community. But there's so many stars, you know, and there's the up and coming stars now, you know, and we've obviously had Batman break $1 million in prize money last November. So there's too many to tell, but you know, Houdini Boy is another one, like a phenomenal stayer, but too many. But I love them all, but there's a few standouts, you know, as we've just said. So yeah, and I just think good luck to everybody. That's the goal in racing, is to have that special dog. And some trainers and owners are lucky to have them more than once. But it is the sort of aspiration to get to that Melbourne Cup, you know, Hardstyle Rico breaking the track record last year. But to get to that aspirational level of winning a big Group 1 in Victoria, that's pretty hard to do. It's very competitive here, and we don't shy away from that. And so to come here or have our dogs here competing interstate and taking their money and their trophy, I'm always proud of that as a parochial Victorian. But, you know, to win Group 1, it's really difficult, and it's the dream for everybody. There's no doubt about that.
And what about any words of encouragement or support for our award winners tonight? We've spoken about how special our greyhounds are, but we've got some pretty great people involved too.
Yeah, we absolutely do. The industry is full of so many great people that are willing to give their time, not just to GRV to help us with certain things, but also just to young trainers coming through. They help each other, you know, they all talk to each other and help each other. I think, you know, if you're winning a GRV award, that's the highest recognition you can get, obviously, in the state. And I think you should be really proud of that and, you know, wear that with a little badge of honour. And I'm just delighted for everyone that's winning an award tonight. You know, it's pretty special, and I hope you feel that way as well. And as I said at the start, it's unfortunate we can't be all together. I think we need to have, you know, some time, hopefully soon, where we can all be back together, whether it's on track or for events like the big marquee events as well, but particularly awards night like tonight, you know, to celebrate when everyone's together, they're relaxed and having a good time. And it really, I think, makes the industry proud. It makes us proud at GRV to be able to host these awards because it's important to celebrate and acknowledge people in our sport. So hopefully next year we'll be in person. You just don't know with COVID anymore. But yeah, I just, you know, I'm really proud of this sport, and, you know, there's been ups and downs along the journey, but we have kept racing. You know, our tracks are great, and our participants have been really just on the ball with everything COVID related and protocols. And it's down to them and our clubs, obviously, and our staff, that we've been able to just keep pushing through and be uninterrupted. And I just, as I said last year, I can't thank them enough, particularly this year. The Delta variant's very different to last year. So thank you, and please stay safe and look after yourselves and your dogs and your families. And I hope our award winners and others in the industry are having a bit of a celebration tonight. You deserve it.
Peter, thanks so much for your time with another virtual Greyhound Awards.
Thanks, Molly, and good night, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful evening, and hopefully we'll see you soon, and particularly at the Melbourne Cup and the Phoenix.
Thank you, Peter, for your continued leadership throughout this past year. Now, coming up, we have a chat with GRV CEO, Alan Clayton. Now, don't forget, I want to see you all at home on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to use the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. I would now like to introduce GRV CEO Alan Clayton to discuss the year that was, as well as the changes we had to make to ensure we continued to race through COVID. Hello and welcome, Alan, to another Victorian Virtual Greyhound Awards after what has been another very interesting year.
Yeah, look, I really wish that I could have been there in person at an event where we were actually physically talking to each other and having, little conversations about how things are going. And we've really missed that this year. So I think for all of us who, people have attended the track and those that are directly involved in the race program have been able to watch their dogs go around. But for many of us, it's been in a really interrupted year. And it's a year that where the promise of returning to the track just keeps being dangled in front of us and then taken away from us. So the frustrations that so many of us that have been passionate about watching greyhound racing, attending greyhound racing, mixing with each other, all of that's been taken away. So it has been a challenging year. Last year was a challenging year. This year is a challenging year. I think the extended environment of challenge is also taxing on us all. I do want to say that it's been a real pleasure that we've been able to keep racing, and I think sometimes we just don't realise why we've kept racing. And I think the reason we've kept racing is because we've got a group of participants, club staff, and our own GRV staff who have all contributed and worked so well together to provide a safe environment, a compliant environment, an environment where we have run our scheduled racing program as designed. And I don't think there's too many places around the world, including in Australia, that can actually say that. So we've had a full race program for the year as we designed it, and it's had some real highlights in it. But I've been really proud just about the fact that we've been able to race for the year. And I think it's something that's really special. And in the years to come, you'll look back on the year of, financial year 20 and financial year 21 and say, wow, they were really difficult years. And going into financial 22, it's again a really difficult year too. So look, thank you to all. It is a heartfelt thanks that I give you today in the context of just the racing program. I think it's wonderful. It's been good for our participants who have really struggled potentially with lots of things going on in their lives, and the fact that we've been able to provide greyhound racing as a constancy, I think has been really important to you and to the dogs and to us.
Now, you've spoken about an industry from an industry point of view, but what I want to know, Alan, let's get to the racing. Are there any, even though in your position, are there any standout performances for you that you wouldn't mind highlighting to everyone at home?
Look, I secretly love some of the dogs particularly, but I tend not to go there because I am, in the regulator role, so I tend not to want to be accused of playing favourites or that. So I just say that I do love watching all forms of racing. I really like the distance racing. Everyone knows I've got a soft spot for Hillsville. I just really loved Bendio's efforts this year in the context of the Pink Diamond, which I thought were really, really special, stellar as a stimulus for betting for people's popularity in punterland. For us, it was absolutely outstanding result. So look, I just think the fact that we've been able to have an extended racing program, the fact that we ran the racing program as envisaged, but we ran 26 race meetings, the fact that we had some really exciting racing during the year. You just, every week there are different dogs running and you think, wow, that dog, and some of the competition that we've had with the dogs has just been absolutely special. But, I think each year we've been able to proudly say that we've got a great set of dogs racing in Victoria, and that's what it's been on about. I think, for us, we are in very unusual times in that normally the second half of our financial year, it sees wagering trends drop off quite a bit. And for the first time in, I don't know what it was like 50 years ago, but in the first time in my time, and certainly probably for the last 10 or 15 years, we have seen wagering trends change, and they've been very, very difficult for us to predict. So it's been very difficult to understand what's going to happen with our revenue. And with that, we have conservative views about how we plan for our budget, and then find that we have to review during the year, which has been much more of an issue than we've ever experienced before. That need to actually relook at how we're going and what's actually happening with our revenue. But the revenue has been stellar, and that's in circumstances where the retail network for Tabcorp has closed down. So, and it's, has been very problematic. It opens for a little bit and then closes and things like that. So it is a really interesting time, and it's very, very volatile.
Without a doubt. Now, Alan, we've mentioned the racing side of things, the industry side of things, but what about any words for tonight's winners of awards that we're handing out?
Yeah, I think anyone that ever wins an award in greyhound racing has got to be really proud of themselves. It's an extremely competitive sport. You've got thousands of dogs competing in the program, and to be a winner means that you've been really special. And that's either as a dog or as a participant in the sport. So I look at you as winners. I look at all of our participants as winners. I really do. I think the fact that we've come through this year, we're all winners. But for those that get the special awards, I think you are, in these circumstances, it should be extra special for you. It certainly is for us. And it is funny how your mind goes back to some of the winners of the past, and how you do think about how great they were, whether it be a Fanta Bale or a Fanta Bale, or any of the dogs that we've had. It is something special. So for those people that become winners, I just say congratulations, and you're very special people.
Well, Alan, I join you in congratulating everyone and everyone's award winners, everyone who are the award winners tonight. But Alan, thank you so much for your time for our second round of Virtual Greyhound Awards.
Thank you, Molly. It's such a pleasure to be able to speak, even if, it is frustrating that we're not there in person.
Thank you very much, Alan, for your continued support. Now, coming up, we remember those who we've lost in the past 12 months. So make sure you stay tuned on GRV's Facebook page. a touching tribute to those we have lost in the last 12 months. Coming up next, we're jumping into our first lot of awards. We have the Ken Carr Medal and the Ned Bryant Award. Our very first award of the night is the Ken Carr Medal. Now, the Ken Carr Medal is awarded in recognition of an individual's special or outstanding contribution to greyhound racing in Victoria. I now have the pleasure of announcing the winner of the 2021 Ken Carr Medal, Rob Tester. I'm here with our Ken Carr Medal winner, Rob Tester. Rob, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, Molly. It's a bit of a shock, bit of a surprise, actually. Surprise, shock, and still waiting for it all to sort of sink in a bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can only imagine. Now, you've been a race caller for I want to say more than 30 years. Can you tell me what?
Well, it's probably closer to 40 now. Yeah, time sort of flies.
Well, I was being kind.
Yeah, I think I started at Ballarat in about 1980, or I think it was 81 that I started. So it's probably 40 years. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, what initially sparked your interest in the dogs?
Look, I've got no idea. I originally wanted to be a race caller from the first time I heard Bill Collins call a race many years ago when I was a kid on. I used to appear on a show like World of Sport on a Sunday morning. So I always wanted to be like him. I had guys that I grew up with in the country town in Colac that were involved in greyhound racing. So that's where my first love for greyhound racing started, way back, probably in about 75 or 76. I went to my first dog meeting.
Absolutely. Now, we all know that trainers do early nights and early mornings, I should say, and late nights, but you have plenty of late nights when you're calling the race meetings. What continues that passion and continues, I suppose, your want to stay up and watch these dogs go around?
Well, I think it's a love. I love the sport and I love calling the races. I've never lost the passion for calling races. It's I don't know, you get a lot of long, lonely hours on the road. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't listen to, but it's stuff that gets me from A to B and home again. And I think it's a love. It never really feels like going to work. I mean, in the last 8 or 10 days, I've done 2 or 3 trips to Horsham, a couple to Warrnambool, a few to Ballarat. I had 2 weeks off and then came back and in the space of 9 days did 8 meetings and 3,000 kilometres. So that's just driving without calling. So you need to really love what you do. You need to love driving and love what you do. And yeah, I've never lost that passion for the game.
That is fantastic. I'm going to ask you a hard question. You've obviously had your around 40 years. Can you tell me what a highlight would be for you?
Race calling wise?
Yeah, race calling.
I think calling any Group 1 race. I've been lucky enough to call Group 1 races at all 3 codes. Called at Caulfield Guineas way back in 1989 for 3 years at the time. I've called Group 1s at the trots and Group 1s at the dogs. I think the highlight is if you can get through a race meeting and keep your mistakes to a minimum. I think that's a highlight. And I think any Group 1 race is a highlight as well. But I really personally try to treat every race the same. I mean, there are owners with dogs that might only win 1 race a year. They're entitled to the same respect as someone that wins, many Group 1 races. So I really try to put as much into a maiden race anywhere as I do into a Group 1 race. It doesn't always work out like that because, you're human and sometimes you get bored and, you might just want to go home. But I really do, honestly, 99.9% of the time, try to treat everybody the same.
What about a favourite dog during your time of...
I don't really have a favourite dog. I've seen so many that I love, but I think the greatest performance I ever saw was Pora Rocker winning the Cranbourne Cup in the early 2000s. Look, it was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen on a racetrack. That includes any code. His performance that night, I doubt whether there was a dog born that could have beaten Pora Rocker that night. And I think that's my favourite performance. as far as favourite dogs go, I don't really have a favourite. I've got 20 or 30 that I really admire greatly. But that Cranbourne Cup in the early 2000s, Pora Rocker, simply the greatest performance ever.
Oh, I'll have
in
to
my
go back
opinion.
and I'll have to go back and watch it because I can't picture it off the top of my head.
Okay, well, to put it in perspective, Cranbourne at the time, to break 30 seconds was nearly impossible. I think only one dog had broken 30 seconds before that. He went 29.60 odd. He beat Vapor World, who was a, multiple Group 1 winner by 14 lengths. It was an unbelievable display. And without wishing to give it away, Tom and George Daly, who I know pretty well, when they've got a smart dog or a fast one, I'll text one of them after they won and say, is it as good as Pora Rocker? And they have yet to say yes. So that's how good. You don't need to take my word for it, take the Daly's word for it, and they say that was the greatest performance I ever saw.
Even after the great Fernando Bale.
Yeah. You ask Tommy Daly about Pora Rocker and he will be waxing nearly as lyrical as I am now.
I look forward to doing that. I certainly will.
The other highlight, Molly, is I did manage to call. I was lucky enough to call Brett Lee winning his maiden at Ballarat as a puppy. He won a Vic Breeders series at Ballarat. He might have got beaten in the final, won his heat and got beaten in the final, but they were his first two runs at Ballarat and they were something to see.
Absolutely. Now, you're also a great mentor in the sport to other race callers, especially in particular Victoria Shaw. You've given her that opportunity to jump on and call some races too. But why do you choose to I suppose, play that mentor role as well?
Well, I just think it's. I was lucky enough to fall into the job. I didn't get a whole lot of favours given to me when I was in my sort of formative years. I just like to. I think if someone's got the guts to stand up there behind a microphone, and the odds are you're going to make a fool of yourself. And if you want to do that, I'm quite happy to let you do it. But seriously, Victoria is a great story. She's a fantastic ambassador for our sport. We should use her more. She is a great ambassador for our sport, and I think she's come on in leaps and bounds as a race caller.
Oh, without a doubt, and I know
because I'm not saying that's got anything to do with my mentorship or my ability to pass on any secrets to her, but I think it's just through sheer hard work and persistence that she's gone a long, long way in a short amount of time, really.
Oh, without a doubt, and I think that she'd be I know that she's very appreciative of the help that you've given her. But Rob, congratulations on your Ken Carr medal. It's certainly well deserved.
Look, it's a pleasure to accept it. I've been on the panel that actually picked Ken Carr medal winners in the past, so I know how much thought and how much effort goes into choosing this medal winner, and to have it named after someone who's an icon of the game is an absolute pleasure. So I certainly accept the award. I can't believe that they've given it to me, but I'll certainly accept it gratefully. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again to Rob Tester. Now, I've seen some fantastic photos of you so far tonight, so make sure you keep them coming on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. Now, coming up next, we have the 2021 Ned Bryant Award. Stay tuned. The Ned Bryant Silver Fox Award is presented to an individual for their outstanding achievements throughout greyhound racing in Victoria. I now have the pleasure of announcing the winner of the 2021 Ned Bryant Silver Fox Award, Kayla Cottrell. Congratulations first on your award.
Yeah, no, thank you, Molly. It's very exciting and, very honoured. It's very hard to think that I've won an award, that's for sure.
And the award, I suppose it is in honour of everything you've achieved in the last 12 months. It's outstanding contribution to greyhound racing. Do you see that you've given an outstanding contribution and had success in the greyhounds the last 12 months?
Yeah, no, look, receiving this award, it makes me sit back and reflect on how well the racing team is going, and it's sort of a pinch myself moment. The dogs are going amazing and a lot of achievements along the way. And, when you put in the hard yards and you receive an award like this, you're going pretty well. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Now let's talk about the last 12 months. As an 18-year-old, you became the youngest Victorian to pick up a Group 1 as a trainer. Talk me through that moment.
Oh, look, being an 18-year-old, it is a lot to take in. And look, I've got my mother and father to thank, Molly. They're a massive support team of mine. They're my mentors. I look up to them, and it's not all me. It's a big family effort. So, look, to be the youngest to win a Group 1, I still can't believe it. It's really a dream you're living in, and you think, when are you going to wake up? So, yeah, it's amazing. It leaves me speechless, really.
Now, you mentioned about your parents being great mentors, but also supports to you throughout, I suppose, your entire journey with the dogs. Talk me through your team and who's involved with it at the moment.
So it's me and mum and dad, and look, my partner, Jake, now he's with us. So, look, since a young kid running around with Ma and parts, and now, you know, doing it with mum and dad, leaving the thoroughbreds and coming back to greyhounds and taking it upon myself to train dogs. And look, I'm still learning. You know, you learn every day. You make mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. But, you know, to be taken on board by myself and dad sort of giving the reins to me, and, no, look, there's big achievements along the way, and I've really got no words for it. It's just a speechless moment.
Now, I'm going to throw a hard one at you. Give me a highlight for the last 12 months for you.
Oh, God. Highlight, even though we didn't win the Easter egg, we didn't get into the final, going to Sydney and sort of taking all that, you know, it's me doing it, taking the dog to Sydney, you know, not having dad. Their mum come with me, but it's all my responsibility, and him coming out and, you know, just blowing the field away. And unfortunately missed the start in the semis, which he never bloody does, but he decided to do it that time. It's the wrong time to do it. But yeah, the golden Easter egg, it's somewhere in a different state, and, you know, that was a big achievement, even though we didn't make it to the final.
There's certainly an element of excitement and difference, I suppose, when you are taking a greyhound into state. But Kayla, you had experience at a thoroughbred stable for a couple of years, but you decided to transition back into greyhounds. What brought you back into our great sport?
Oh, look, at the stage I was probably 14, 15, and I couldn't get my handler's license, trainer's license. I couldn't be at the track, so it sort of annoyed me there, and I thought, oh, we'll go to thoroughbreds. And so I started at Wendy's, and I was down there for a couple of years, and I actually moved out of home for 7 weeks to go to Mick Price. And look, while you're there, you're working for someone else. You're just a number. So I thought, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not going to make anything of myself. So I rang mum and dad, and I said, Dad, you got to get me out of here. I want to come back home, and I want to do the dogs and take it on upon myself to try and make some achievements along the way and train some very nice handy dogs. And yeah, that's what I did, and I'm bloody glad I did it.
Oh, without a doubt. Now, talk me through your relationship with Alan Hunter. You guys have got a really fantastic team that has given you both so much success.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for Alan. You know, the Hunter Racing Syndicate, they've gave me these dogs, and look, without Alan's dogs, I probably wouldn't have achieved, you know, those great big races. And they're beautiful animals, and they're the whole litter they can run, that's for sure. So yeah, I can't thank Alan enough. He's just handed me a ripper of a litter, and yeah, no, there's plenty of litters coming through. So yeah, very exciting times ahead with the Hunter Racing Syndicate.
What is it about the greyhounds that you love?
I think they're always happy to see you. It doesn't matter if you're in a horrible mood, you've opened that, roll the door of the race, and they're all just so happy to see you. There's not a bad day for a greyhound, and, you know, they just put a smile on your face, and they love racing. It's not a job for them. They absolutely love going to the races, and, you know, they're just a beautiful animal.
Now, what does the next 12 months look like for Kayla Cottrell?
Oh, God, hopefully plenty more big races. Oh, look, I'd love to win a Melbourne Cup. I think everyone wants to win a Melbourne Cup. And look, we've got some nice dogs coming through. So look at Melbourne Cup. God, gives you shivers thinking about it.
It sure does. Well, Kayla, congratulations on your Ned Bryant Silver Fox Award. It is thoroughly deserved, and everyone I know in the greyhound community is giving you a big cheer home.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations again to Kayla Cottrell. What a fantastic face for the sport of Victorian greyhound racing. Now, coming up next, we have the announcement of our Metropolitan and Provincial Trainer Awards. Welcome back to the 2021 Virtual Victorian Greyhound Awards. The Metropolitan Trainers Premiership is awarded to the highest number of Metropolitan winners on a Victorian Greyhound track. I am now very pleased to announce the winner of the 2021 Metropolitan Trainer Premiership is Team Daly. Unfortunately, Andrew was unable to join us this evening, but we do extend our congratulations to Team Daly.
Racing Tommy Shelby out fast on the inside there with Shimmer Shine. It's Shimmer Shine clear, and Shimmer Shine's going to win the tab Top Gun.
Turns by 2 lengths to Carry On Star. Quara Bale storming home down the outside. It's Quara Bale to win the Sapphire.
Congratulations to Team Daly. And now on to the Provincial Trainer of the Year. The Provincial Trainers Premiership is based on the most wins in a full provincial stake money race conducted on Victorian country tracks. I am pleased to announce the 2021 Provincial Victorian Trainer of the Year is Mark Delbridge. Mark, first of all, on taking out this award.
Yeah, it's a great honour. Yes, thank you.
Now, talk me through what makes your kennels tick, because it's certainly not just you that gets up and does the dogs every morning.
Feels like it. There's Lisa, Miles, Dean, Sean, and Debbie. Said myself, Sean, and Dean do work the dogs of the mornings. It's, as I said, it is a team effort.
And that's, I think, exactly what greyhound racing's all about. Can you tell me how many dogs you have at your kennel at the moment?
90 odd.
90 odd. Gosh, I'm glad you've got plenty of staff to help with that. But Mark, like I've mentioned before, you've had obviously a very good 12 months, even 24 months as well. Can you talk me through some highlights?
Zip and Rambo would have to be the biggest highlight, winning the Sandown Cup. That's the biggest race I've won in the racing career, as well as Christo Bale going back to back for the McKenna.
Absolutely. Having been in the dogs for a little while now, do you still get a huge do you get a thrill out of winning those big races?
Oh yeah, for sure. As I said, everyone wants to win. I said a few big races along the way before they finish not doing dogs anymore. But yeah, as I said, I try to win every race, but it doesn't happen.
Is there one particular race, whether it's around the country or in the city, that you would really like to win?
Oh, geez. Melbourne Cup would be nice, but as I said, I have a few runners, but as I said, that don't seem to qualify.
Well, hopefully one day. There's still plenty of time to come. But Mark, last of all, can you talk me through what I suppose drives you to continue with the dogs? Because it isn't just a 9 to 5; it's a 24-hour job. What continues to drive your passion for these animals?
I suppose winning races. I suppose. Winning races. As I said, I don't really know that much else. As I said, I've been doing the dogs for that long. I said I've been in dogs since I was probably about 12 years old.
So you've been in dogs for a couple of years. Then we won't let on your age. But yeah. Mark, congratulations to all of Team Delbridge on taking out the Trainers Premiership. I'm sure there's plenty of big things still to come.
Yeah, cross fingers. Let's hope so.
Thanks very much, Mark. And don't forget, everyone tuning in at home, to stay connected through our social media using the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. Congratulations to Mark Delbridge and the rest of the Delbridge family. And now on to our brand new award for trainers. It is the 2021 Metropolitan and Provincial Trainers Strike Rate Award. Now, this is awarded using racing data to determine the overall strike rate of a Victorian trainer and therefore awarding to Metropolitan and Provincial trainers. I am happy to announce for the very first time the 2021 Metropolitan Trainer Strike Rate Award goes to Kel Greeno. Kel, first of all, congratulations on being the very first winner.
Thanks, Molly. Never complain about winning something.
Absolutely not. Now, the Strike Rate Award was brought into place to reward and I suppose acknowledge trainers who may not have the big numbers but are able to really make sure they're getting their dogs to the track with great success. And obviously you've fallen into that category with your 94 starters for 25 victories. What do you think it is about your high success rate in getting these dogs to the track successfully?
Oh, probably if I don't say it's great staff, then I'm in trouble. So it's obviously Jackie, Angie, Darren helped a lot. So all those things come into it.
Without a doubt. Can you talk me through your team of greyhounds, how many you have at the moment?
Look, we very rarely have more than 12 race dogs. So it's, most of the time we've got 6 racing and we've got work-up dogs, we've got the old dogs. So, yeah, it's not a big team effort. We can obviously never take on the dailies or anything like that because they win everything.
Without a doubt. And I think that the numbers also help there, which is why it was so important to have this award brought in. Now, you mentioned the great team behind you. Can you talk me through what a day in the life looks like for the Greeno Kennel?
Yeah, look, it's basically routine every day. It's just Groundhog Day. We just get up and do the same routine every day. So nothing much changes. It's just get in and do your jobs. Everyone knows what job they've got and we just do what we have to do. So there's no secrets about anything what we do. It's just basically boredom and routine.
Boredom and routine, I very much like that. Do you pride yourself on making sure your greyhounds are 100% when they get to the track? Do you feel like you're more on the conservative side in making sure these dogs are right before they go out?
Probably too conservative, Molly. Yeah, look, I try and dot all the I's and cross all the T's and then you still got to hope because you've got box draws to contend with and dogs that are better than your dogs and all that sort of stuff. So we just do our best and hope that it all comes out.
Now, talk me through a highlight of the last 12 months for you.
Highlight? Probably Houdini Boy. It'd be our highlight. Winning the Sale Cup was a big run and we're all happy about that. We're also extremely happy when Tommy Shelby won the Australia Cup because we're obviously all involved and all those races is probably what you strive for and what probably gets you up every morning.
What is the one thing that you enjoy most about training greyhounds and being with them day in, day out, apart from the boredom and repetitiveness, obviously?
Look, we basically love the dogs. It's just, you get connected to dogs. I don't think you can help but get connection to dogs. And when you do, when your dog comes out and does a good race, they don't necessarily have to win, but they run a good race and, you sort of get a bit emotional about it, thinking that's a good effort. But at the end of the day, next week you come out and you get beat. So it just changes every run. But yeah, it is basically a tough industry and you just got to have a bit of luck.
Do you have any aspirations or plans for the next 12 months and what it could look like for Team Greeno?
Team Greeno will probably get less and less. I would imagine we're getting a bit old now, so we're going to try and scale down a bit and make life a little bit easier for ourselves. Jackie and I are getting a bit older now, so it just gets a bit hard to do all the work all the time.
Without a doubt. Well, Kel, thank you so much and congratulations on being the very first winner of our Metropolitan Trainer Strike Rate Award.
Thanks very much, Molly.
Congratulations to Kel Greeno and the rest of the Greeno family. And now onto the Provincial Trainers Strike Rate Award. The 2021 Provincial Trainers Strike Rate Award goes to Dallas Massena. Unfortunately, Dallas was unable to join us for tonight's Victorian Greyhound Awards, but we do extend our congratulations to Dallas and her family.
Racing, Lalina fast away, beginning well was Lalina lead for home. Stardom comes to the outside, has two to make up. Lalina in front, Lalina.
Away and racing and Baricki, it began only fairly, now showing pain. Baricki takes over from Superior Jessica, and the Queen of Hillsville is Baricki.
Congratulations to all of our trainers and award winners. We have seen some fantastic photos of all of you watching from home so far, so make sure you continue to post your photos watching from home to your Facebook, Instagram or Twitter using the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. We will be back shortly with the announcement of the 2021 GRV Board and CEO Awards, where I'll be joined by my colleague Ben Pritchard to present the awards.
Thanks for the intro, Molly, and nice to see everyone through Zoom this evening. Up next are the GRV Board and CEO Awards. First up, we have the GRV Board Leadership Award, which aims to recognise those who over the racing year have contributed to the sport of greyhound racing in Victoria and have displayed the GRV values in the promotion of greyhound racing, breeding, owning, training and adopting of greyhounds. I would now like to introduce GRV Board Chair Peter Duncan to present the award.
Thanks, Ben, and I'm delighted to announce that the GRV Leadership Award this year goes to someone that exemplifies a passion and commitment to our sport, and that is our queen of straight track racing across Australia, I think, is Cynthia O'Brien, who is the club manager at the Hillsville Greyhound Racing Club. Congratulations, Cynthia. I hope you're really proud of this moment. You do a fantastic job promoting straight track racing all around the country. Well done.
Cynthia, thanks for joining me and congratulations on winning the GRV Board Leadership Award. How are you feeling?
A little overwhelmed and very pleased to be with you, Ben.
Fantastic. And Cynthia, you've been involved in the industry for many years through administration, club management, breeding, training and more. What's the highlight of your career in greyhound racing so far?
Probably to see how the industry's evolved and what we're doing now for the safety of greyhound racing, and obviously Hillsville plays a big part in that for straight track racing, and I'm passionate about that. So that's probably been the highlight for me nowadays.
Yeah, fantastic, and we love getting out to Hillsville, which is amazing up there. And as I've just said, with wearing so many hats in the industry, what's your main driver around greyhound racing and what gets you out of bed in the morning?
A passion for the sport. A passion to add new ideas to the industry and to be involved in making those decisions to provide better racing opportunities for people and their greyhounds.
Yeah, fantastic. And as you've mentioned there, the safe racing, straight racing, you've recently become the face of straight track racing throughout Victoria and Australia, leading the charge, so to speak. What do you think the impact is of straight racing on the sport?
I think people are getting a greater understanding that straight track racing gives their dogs a longer lifetime on the track. It's the ideal place to start your pups off because they learn to gallop, and you've got straight racing to just teach pups. And then when you get to the other end, you've got the longevity issues with veteran racing and older dogs that have had severe injuries that can no longer go around corners, and it just gives them an opportunity to continue to race.
Yeah, fantastic. And Cynthia, being one of a handful of national female club managers and one of only two in Victoria, as well as pioneering the Women on Track event many years ago at Hillsville, how important do you think representation for women in our sport is?
I think in this day and age, having the women in the sport's really important. We've got two female managers in Victoria. We've got a female chairman of the board. Like, women are just as important in this industry now as what the men are. We've got a lot to say, as most men would attest to, and we're being listened to now, which is a really good thing. It's a positive for the sport.
Yeah, fantastic. And Cynthia, we've all just finished up the 2021 Hillsville Festival of Racing, which was obviously significantly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Are you looking forward to welcoming people back on track to showcase Hillsville once restrictions ease?
I think it's probably a little way off yet, but I can't wait till the people come back. You know, for the last 2 years, we've run these big events at Hillsville and had nobody on track. And the recent Festival of Racing was, 10 weeks of racing and 30 race meetings. And we had all these new race ideas, which, were really impacted by COVID-19. The big feature races that were to be between the Richmond Straight Track and Hillsville, we missed out on having the interstate people. So, I would really appreciate if we could have people back. The other race we had was the Arrow, and the owners of those dogs are missing out because they can't come to the track. So it would be nice when we open up and everybody's safe that we can all get back to the track and enjoy the sport that we're all involved in.
Fantastic. And Cynthia, thanks for joining me once again. Congratulations once again on the award, and it's been fantastic to see you via Zoom for the awards this evening. Congratulations once again to Cynthia O'Brien on receiving the 2021 GRV Board Leadership Award. Up next, I would like to welcome GRV CEO Alan Clayton to present the GRV CEO Welfare Award. The GRV CEO Welfare Award aims to recognise those who have demonstrated a commitment to animal welfare and will be awarded to a person for special or outstanding contribution to the welfare of greyhounds in Victoria. Over to you, Alan, to announce the winner.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Look, it's a really great pleasure for me to be able to announce the welfare recipient, the Welfare Award recipient. It is really important role that is played by all of our volunteers, by the people that are involved in rehoming our dogs. I do want to say that every winner is a dog. The dogs are the winners, but our participants who rehome the dogs, the rehoming groups that rehome the dogs, GAP, and the individual volunteers. And it's great pleasure that I can announce the GRV CEO Welfare Award winner is Jody Reschsteiner. And thanks very much, Jody, for just such wonderful work. And it means so much, not just to me, but to many, many thousands of dogs that are out there in the street that have had support from individuals like yourself who you represent, but you've been stellar. So thank you very much.
Jody, thanks for joining me and congratulations on winning the GRV CEO Welfare Award for 2021. How are you feeling?
Thanks, Ben. What an amazing surprise. No, I'm actually feeling really humbled. Like greyhounds have been part of my life for quite a few years, and everything that I do with the greyhounds I thoroughly enjoy. So I guess winning an award like this is just the icing on the cake. Yeah, I certainly don't do it for the award. I do it for the love of the dogs and for their welfare. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Amazing. And so speaking of amazing, you've fostered a very impressive 97 greyhounds over the last 9 years. What brought you to greyhounds and fostering in the first place?
Yes, so 97, wow. I think I lost count somewhere through there, I'm not sure. And I certainly couldn't tell you the names of all 97, but there's certainly been some standouts. So what brought me to greyhounds? So when my son, who is now 16, was around about 8 months old, I decided it was time to get another dog. I already had one at the time. And I'm a bit of a two-dog person. I think, they're pack animals, they need their friends, all of that stuff. And look, I can't honestly tell you what brought me to greyhounds. Like I must have seen something somewhere. And at that time, greyhounds weren't the fashion accessory I guess they are now. They weren't cool. They were still very much just in racing circles. And I'm certainly not within any racing circles at all. And weren't brought up in racing circles. So, greyhounds, I guess, were quite foreign to me. I've had friends who've had whippets and things, but not greyhounds as such. So yeah, anyway, when he was 8 months old, I thought, let's have a look. And I remember doing some research on GAP and being in regional Vic, sort of close to, I guess, the kennels. That sort of was like, oh, well, this is a bit cool. So anyway, we went up to the kennels and we found our very first greyhound, who was a 4-year-old whose name was Tassie. There's been lots of Tassies since. And I remember at the time, there was this real stigma around greyhounds, around, oh my God, why would you get a greyhound? They're vicious, they're aggressive, they wear muzzles, they're not good, they're, you know, they're not a family dog. You've got an 8-month-old baby, you know, are you mad? And I'm like, they're a dog. Like, seriously, they can't be that bad. And anyway, the times and the memories that we've had with the greyhounds since, you know, just confirmed, I guess, what a gentle nature and how beautiful they are. I mean, I've got amazing photos of, you know, my eldest son at sort of, as I said, 8 to 12 months old, crawling under, you know, the greyhound, you know, and then other photos of, I went on and had a second son. His favourite pastime was his afternoon nap was on a greyhound's bottom, you know. So the greyhound would be on the couch fast asleep. He would snuggle up with them and use their bottom as a pillow. And, you know, so things like that. And look, you know, never had any untoward things occur with the kids and the greyhounds. I mean, I am very, I guess, cautious and very strict around, you know, dog spacing, kid space, and we don't mix the two and all of that stuff. And I guess also through my journey, I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, but, you know, how do greyhounds go with children? And so I tend to flip that on its head and say, well, how do your children go with dogs? Like, it's, you know, it's a two-way question. It's not just, you know. So, yeah, so I've had, since Tassie, I have had 4 greyhounds of my own. As I said, I always have 2. I like to have a girl and a boy, just to keep it all nice and balanced. And then, yeah, obviously we've had the 97 fosters filter through with those. And I find having the male and the female works exceptionally well because of, you know, if it's a female foster, then, you know, I guess the relationship and the balance is very different, you know, depending on which sex that the foster is. So, yeah. I think that was sort of my journey with greyhounds, really.
Amazing. And so along with fostering, you've also been involved in a number of GAP and GRV events and activations. What has been your favourite event to come along to?
Yeah, so look, I think I would have to say, along with a lot of people, my favourite is probably the Melbourne show. And look, you know, I sort of wonder whether my time when I first decided on a greyhound, whether it was because I saw them at the show. I've seen a lot of changes in how we've run, or how GRV have run the show campaigns. You know, we've had location moves. We've had, I mean, obviously an amazing sort of front every single year, and always very different, which is really cool. But I think the main thing is just about getting out and talking to people about greyhounds. And as I said before, you know, lots of questions around, you know, how do they go with children? But don't they need lots of space? Don't they need lots of exercise? Oh, no, I couldn't possibly have one because of X, Y, and Z. And I just love doing that myth busting. I think, you know, I could have adopted my own personal greyhounds probably 20 times over through those events, you know. I've sort of had people go, right, I'm taking this one home. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not actually, because they live on my couch. I've also had the beautiful experience of, I had this one beautiful foster, and look, he would have been, wouldn't have been 9 years ago, but he was probably round about in my 4th year of fostering, I would think. He was a beautiful black and white boy, and of course called Patch, because what else do you call a black and white greyhound other than Patch? But he had this really, I guess, noticeable keyhole sort of, or key lock sort of combination on his bottom. It was all white, and he had this black keyhole on his bottom above his tail. And I took him to the show as one of our fosters, because I would always take one of my own greyhounds and then a foster as well, because we like to have that variety. And anyway, the people who ended up adopting him met him at the show. So, you know, I had to have a chat with him. They met him. They decided he was his, you know, and of course we go through the process where we say, well, this is what you need to do to adopt him. And I didn't think much more of it. And anyway, so the show would have been in September. I think it must have been sort of that 13, 14 months later. GAP held a Christmas party up at the kennels in Seymour. And so, you know, we all potted up, and I remember, you know, lots of the dog swimming pools around. It was quite a hot day. You know, everybody was just chilling out on, you know, picnic blankets and all of that stuff. And I heard somebody say, oh, Patch, come here, Patch, you know. And I sort of turned around, oh, Patch, what? You know, I turned around and I went, oh, my God, I'm sure that's our Patch. So anyway, long story short, we made a connection with the people and, you know, introduced ourselves and said, look, you know, he was our foster. And they're like, oh, we remember you from the show. And I mean, clearly I didn't, because you sort of come across so many different people. But the beautiful thing was we formed a relationship, we swapped numbers, all of that stuff. And unfortunately due to COVID, but pre-COVID, Patch would actually come to us at least once, if not twice a year for holidays when they went away, because they have family over in New Zealand and things, so they would travel. And, you know, like most greyhound owners couldn't bear the thought of putting them into kennels. So Patch would actually come back for a holiday. And it was just beautiful. So, and we're still in contact now, and, you know, they've gone on and had their own family, and it's just beautiful. Like, I guess the relationships that you build through the dogs. So yeah, sorry, that's a really long answer to a really short question.
No, that's perfect. And speaking of what you said about family just there, although this award is for you this year, I hear that your fostering and volunteering journey has been a family affair, with your two sons helping out and loving the greyhounds as well.
Right, definitely. So anything I do is always with my boys. Like, you know, we're a very, I guess, connected unit, or not that they have a great deal of choice, because, you know, what mum says goes, but they are very involved. I think it's been a great experience for them. You know, they've learnt to be respectful of different, you know, different presentations from the dogs. We have everything from, you know, very anxious dogs coming through, behavioural issues, and so, you know, in conjunction with discussions that I have with Rose around, you know, what are we looking at for this dog? You know, is there any particular work we need to do? Then I'm able to word up the boys and say, right, you know, this is what we need to be aware of. This is what we need to be watching.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it sounds like it's been a lot of fun along the journey, which is good. And on top of everything else, there's so many facets to what you've done with the greyhounds, but you've also brought up some TAFE groups to GAP to spend the day helping out with our greyhounds. What sort of volunteering have the groups done, and what's been the response like?
Look, this is a program I'm really proud of, Ben. I teach VCAL in a non-secondary school setting, and over the years, I guess I leveraged it off my relationship with Rose and the kennel staff and Jenny and everybody else, and everybody was really supportive. And basically what we did was, I have 16 students on site, and luckily in Seymour, so logistics are fairly easy. And what we do is we bring the students out to the kennels. We were operating it in a once a fortnight format, and it was normally on a Thursday or a Friday. We'd bring the students out and they would basically become kennel hands for the day. So we would wash the dogs, walk the dogs, do some enrichment activities. We'd do some really basic training, like, you know, walking on a lead, and all of those things, I guess, and just spending time with the dogs. We'd had some great times where I remember we were up there one time and there was a group of puppies in. So you can just imagine this group of teenagers with a group of greyhound puppies, which was just beautiful. And in all honesty, what the kids give to the dogs in this situation is nothing compared to what the dogs give my kids. All of my kids, students, probably shouldn't call them kids, students, come from trauma-informed backgrounds. So they've had a tricky road. They've underlying issues, you name it, we can probably tick a box for you. And what we've seen these students just absolutely blossom. So it's quite funny to see. What normally happens is the students will pair up with dogs that very much mirror them. So I remember one instance, I had one young lady who was exceptionally apprehensive of dogs, particularly large dogs. She hadn't had a good experience in the past. And so just her anxiety alone of getting her there was huge, you know. So, you know, we did the whole supporting her through, you know, you don't have to touch the dogs if you don't want to, you can stay with us. We did all of that. And anyway, by the end of it, she decided she wanted to have a go with one of the dogs. And she was probably paired up with one of the most nervous dogs and she did that pairing herself. We didn't do it. That was her choice. But what it meant was it gave her the chance, and I actually sort of took her aside and quietly said, now look, you're the leader. You have to show this dog how clever they are. But what that was doing in turn was getting her to be really clever and really strong. And she did laps and laps of the dam with this dog. And every step she took, you could just see that confidence that, you know, oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm succeeding. And it was beautiful. It was just, yeah. And I guess these are the moments why we do it. And look, for my students as well, and they don't see those moments. Like, that's something as an instructor that we see. But for them, it's about employability skills. You know, to be able to put on your resume that you have volunteered at the GAP program and this is what duties you've done, makes them so much more employable. So I'm really keen for COVID to go away so we can reinstate that program, because I've also got one running with the RDA, so the horses in Seymour. So I think it would just be amazing if I could have the horses and the dogs working concurrently. And I guess the one thing that I say to everybody when we talk about the program is that the hardest thing is I take 16 kids up to the kennels. The trickiest thing is not coming back with 16 dogs, because every single student's like, oh, Jodie, I'll just adopt this one and take it home. And this is mine. And this is, so it's just beautiful. And I will also never forget the first time I took the group up. I guess they were my pilot program, and I was all a little bit nervous because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's expectations. Oh, what if they're naughty and all of those things. And anyway, the growth within that group of students within literally a 3-hour period, couldn't have done it anywhere else. They'd gone, and I won't say they'd gone from being strangers, but they'd gone from being, oh yeah, you're a classmate and that's about it, to, oh, right, we have to do this, and oh, we're going to plan this activity, and oh, we could do this, and let's plan a camp, and it was just this cohesion just came out of nowhere. And I just thought, this is why we do it. And it's just beautiful. So yes, I really want COVID to go away so we can get back to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone up at GAP will welcome you back with open arms, and all the students with open arms as well. So that's absolutely fantastic. And then just to close off, I suppose a very poignant question. As I said, you're at 97 fosters. Are you going to crack the century by the end of 2021, do we think?
Most definitely. So Nikki, my current foster, is sitting on my red chair looking very comfy. She's decided that's her favourite spot. She's got about 2 weeks left with me, I think. And then, yep, I'll get Rose to line up the next couple, and hopefully by Christmas we'll have cracked the ton.
Yeah, perfect. And I suppose that sort of brings us to a close there, Jodie. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, congratulations on the award, and fantastic work.
Thank you. And it's not possible without the support of GRV. And at the end of the day, it's all for the dogs.
Yeah, everything we do is for the dogs. Love them. Thank you so much, Jodie. Once again, congratulations to Jodie and her family on their incredible fostering achievements. We have seen some fantastic photos of you all watching from home so far this evening. So make sure to keep those photos coming and post your photos watching from home to Facebook, Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. I'll now hand back over to Molly to run through the GRV 2021 Hall of Fame inductees. Thanks, Molly.
Thanks very much, Ben, and congratulations to the award winners. Next up is Greyhound Racing Victoria's Hall of Fame. Being inducted into our Hall of Fame is one of the most prestigious achievements in our sport. The Hall of Fame inductees this year will be among Greyhound Racing royalty. Our first inductee into the 2021 GRV Hall of Fame is Brood Matron Stran Bell. Barry, how did you end up with Stran Bell?
Well, a good friend of mine, Murray Sheehan in Melbourne at Essendon, he owned her, and he bred 1 litter out of her. He raced her and bred 1 litter out of her, and then he found it too much in town to breed a litter, and he offered it to me for breeding, which was a big boost for me. Yeah.
Were you known for your Mapunga dogs yet? Like, where were you at there?
No, we weren't calling dogs Mapunga then. It was right in the early days when we started. It was I was only into it probably 2 to 3 years when Murray offered it to me, and we took her and went on from there. Her lines have come right through to Mapunga Blazer and Cruiser and right through. So she was a big part in the breeding. Yeah.
Tell me about her racing career.
Yeah, well, that's 50 years ago or so, but I'd say I know she was a very top-class sprinter and stayer, and she was a very small dog. From memory, what was she? I think she would have only been about 22 or 24 kilos, very small. She won a Gold Cup in Sydney at Wentworth Park over the distance, and she'd match it with any dog going at that time. She was a special dog.
Can you talk me through some of her most successful offspring in the early days to start off with?
Yeah, well, Murray bred a litter by Pied Rebel, and they were very handy dogs. And then when I got her, I put her to Newmore King, and we finished up with some very, very handy dogs. Mystic Strand, who I raced myself, she won a Sandown distance, and she was probably in the top 3 or 4 stayers in Melbourne. The Mapunga line started up late in time, but I had Mystic Strand and bred from her. Then I had a bitch called Mystic Therese, and she threw Mapunga Blaze, who started things off in '99. He won the Derby in Sydney. And then we come down to Mapunga Anna, and she threw Mapunga Diamond. It was by Brett Lee. And then we got Mapunga Nikki, of course, and we all know what Nikki did. She was brilliant on the racetrack and as a brood bitch. And there come Mapunga Blazer and Cruiser come from Nikki. So that line, you know, you're looking at a 50-year line of breed in there. And in those lines, you've got a heap of Group 1s that were there too.
Now, last of all, what has Stran Bell done for your career as a breeder?
Well, I guess she's one of the lines that's put me on the map. Without her, I probably wouldn't have had the class dogs that we've been lucky enough to get over the years. You know, like as I say, we've got 2 lines going, and they're both throwing very good dogs, you know, top liners at the moment. And she's that right-hand line, you know, and the other line, of course, is the Mias and Rosies and all their pups.
Now, Neil, can you talk me through Stran Bell's racing career for those who may not be aware of what she did on the track?
Yeah, she was a high-quality stayer, a little black bitch. She raced in the 70s, and in those days, the staying ranks were as deep as the sprinting ranks. There was pretty much even in those times. She raced the very best stayers of that era. Bunyip Bint and Zoom Top. Sally Ella was another top-class greyhound. Little Paul's Thunder was a champion here in Victoria. I saw her race and win at Olympic Park and at Sandown Park, and she won a big feature race in New South Wales. So she was a really high-quality greyhound. She was bred in the purple. She was by Takiri from Lara Mantique, from a fantastic litter. And Lara Mantique had very successful pups to a couple of sires, Takiri and Blacktop. So, yeah, she was destined to be a good race dog, and she was raced by Maury Sheehan and trained by Maury and trained by Freddie Garbutt for a small period of time as well. But, yeah, she was a great little racer. She won the 1971 Wentworth Park Gold Cup, which was a big feature race in New South Wales at the time.
Is there anyone you can compare her to in today's era? It does sound like she had a bit of versatility about her as well.
Yeah, look, she'd be in the top ranked 4 or 5 stayers racing today. She was more a front running type of bitch. Got to the front and as I say, raced the best, and they were very hard to beat in those days.
Can you tell me what impact she had on breeding? We're talking a couple of years down the track, but what impact has she had on breeding here in Victoria especially?
Oh, I would rate it probably the leading brood bitch for the period of time we're talking about. As we all probably know, to last a 50-year period is near impossible, and she's probably the only one that's been able to do that. In fact, it's hard to say how long the line will last, given that Mapunga Blaze is a leading sire now, and the line seems endless. No small part played by Barry Smith here. Barry's a wonderful breeder. He's a Hall of Famer, as we know, and the pups that he rears and prepares for racing, I don't think we can undersell how Barry has played a part in this line. But to keep it going, her line has been able to throw to a multitude of top sides, imports and local. It's all come the same. We've only got 2 other brood bitches in the Hall of Fame. We Sell, a wonderful line, and Leprechaun Miss. And I probably personally rate Stran Bell just above those 2 lines. But it's a long time to be a success, isn't it? 50 years.
Absolutely. Neil, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the kind words and the insight into what Stran Bell did on the racetrack as well as in the breeding barn.
Thank you very much, Molly. Pleasure.
What a fantastic inductee to kick off our Hall of Fame inductions tonight. Next up is a well-known champion of recent years, a greyhound that cracked $1 million in prize money. She was a superstar on the track. Our next inductee into the 2021 Greyhound Racing Victoria Hall of Fame is Fanta Bale. The daughter of David Bale and Yosemite Typhoon, retired as the highest prize money earner Australia has ever seen. Fanta Bale claimed a record 13 group races, 9 of those Group 1s, which is also a record.
And they're off now. Stepping away, flying Fanta Bale. Buck 40's going to drive, but Miss Fanta Bale's won it. In the straight though, Fanta Bale clear, and Fanta Bale won it.
Around the turn, it's Fanta Bale in front. Tacky keeping tries hard. The third millionaire, Fanta Bale. She won the bolt.
Fanta Bale moved up on the outside, takes the lead, and the mighty Fanta Bale has run the same top.
Robert, how did you end up with Fanta Bale in your care?
Look, it's probably a long story, but bought the mother, Yosemite Typhoon, at the Abilene Greyhound sales at 13 and a half months. At the end of her career, she went to Paul, and then ended up that her litters came back to me over 3 litters. In the same time, she was purchased. I purchased her for John Hutchison and Sandy Matheson. So it turned it out to be a bit of a mate's affair where they were involved with her and had the rider along with Paul Wheeler.
Now, speaking of superstar, at what point did you realise Fanta was something special? Was it that early stage when she was getting educated, or not educated, probably pre-trained, or was it when you got her to the track?
Initially, I think the first 2 times we put 4 dogs round at Geelong twice, that was 4 litter mates. One dog won by about 8 or 10 lengths both times, and I kept saying, which one was that? Which one was that? And so for the first 2 or 3 runs, I didn't really know which one it was, but she was head and shoulders above a very good litter. And again, like her very first start, she went 29.36 at Sandown. So, you know, you get excited when you get dogs doing that, and it doesn't happen every day.
What does a dog like Fanta do for someone's training career? You're obviously an established trainer before Fanta, but do you feel she did anything additional for you as a trainer?
Probably satisfaction in that, you know, you're in the game your whole life, and all of a sudden you get a dog come along that, you know, it's a genuine champion. And, you know, they always say if you're in it long enough, you'll get one good enough. And that happened. And really, I think it's more satisfaction that you've got a dog that's the complete dog.
You've had some very good dogs, or trained some very good dogs in the past. Is she up there with the best you've ever had?
She's definitely the best race performer I've ever had. There's no doubts about that. I've always said she's never the fastest dog I've ever had, over whether it be the 500 or the 700. But she was the most complete dog I've ever had, and I guess that's the thing you look for, in that she did it on the racetrack against the very best dogs, and that, you know, regardless, she didn't break a track record, but she won when it counted.
As a training and owning / breeding duo, you and the Wheelers, was there ever discussion around reaching that $1 million mark? I know there was so much hype put on, I suppose, all of you guys when it came to the marketing around Fanta because of that outside interest. But did you ever have that discussion on wanting to reach that milestone with her?
No, not at all. In fact, to be quite honest, it used to annoy me a bit because I like to take it one at a time. If you look too far ahead, you can be disappointed. And I honestly, I kept the money side out of it. And as I said before, because we had a group of friends involved with it, the money wasn't the biggest money I've ever had with a dog because it was shared around. But at the same time, it was more the ride of having a great dog that just put in every time and won at nearly every level. I think her consistency and also the fact that she did everything right. You get a lot of dogs in your career that, they're either very fast or they're very strong or they're very quick early but they don't put everything together. And she was the one perfect dog in my whole life that I've had where she jumped a box, she was very good in the field, she chased well, and she could finish it off. So that doesn't happen very often.
Racing, Lightning Frank missed the start and away very fast there, Fanta Bale.
Now, last of all, what about a favourite win of Fanta's and why?
Oh, it's a tough question. It's look, the Sandown Cup was a great win. The Australian Cup was a great win, but it's funny sometimes it's the smaller runs you like, and I think her when she ran second, I think it was in the McKenna Memorial. She was last early and in trouble and getting decked, and she got beat ahead by very, very good dogs. And I've always thought that was her best run.
Well, she arrived with the rest of her litter as she'd been pre-trained at bred, whelped down, pre-trained and all that at Paul Wheeler's. Came to us and we trialled her. The boss had the joy of trialling her at the start. Came back and sort of said, we might have something here. She was trialling well, and I had the pleasure of taking her to the Sandown for her debut. She jumps and runs 29.30 odd, and we knew we had something special from then.
What kind of thrill do you get as being you've been a part of the kennel for a while now, but what kind of thrill do you get working with a dog like Fanta?
It's a thrill to work with any dog, but work with one who turned out to be as good as she was, it's just an absolute joy. It just makes you happy to get up in the morning, go to work, give them a cuddle, and help them do what they love doing.
Do you think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. Prize money record, number of Group 1s won, and even her kids are winning in town now. So yeah, she might even make it as a broodie one day.
You spoke about her character. Tell me a little bit more about what she was like in the kennels.
She was cheeky. It's probably like young kids coming up when they know they're good at something and they just want to show off that little bit, and they'll sort of look at me, here I am, and she had a little bit about that but also when she got to the track it was all professional, and she knew she was there to do a job, and fortunately she did it.
Do you have a favourite race or memory with it?
Oh, it's got to be the Australian Cup win. To draw the wrong box up against some really, really good dogs, to get flattened on the first turn, even though she caused most of it herself, and then to come back and still win the race. And Clint Anderson and Paul Monk were taking photos that night, and as I'm walking back down the track, they signalled for me to wave the lead in the air, which I did. And then the emotion hit me. You can probably hear it in my voice now. And I don't know how you can describe it. Clint's got the photo. You'll probably see it. You probably put it up on this, knowing you. And where I just let all the emotion out at once and just did the big yes. And Clint got the perfect photo of it. So, yeah, that basically wrapped up what she was to me.
What a brilliant addition to our Victorian Greyhound Racing Hall of Fame in Fanta Bale. Our next inductee for 2021 is someone who has impacted the entire industry and had immeasurable impacts on not only greyhounds, but the people she came into contact with. Our final inductee for the Hall of Fame for 2021 is Karen Leek. Peter, can you tell me your very first memory of Karen Leek?
I certainly can, Molly. When I first started buying greyhounds with my mum, I actually was put in touch with Karen to do the rearing for us, and that's the first time I met her. And I went to her property down south and met her, and I was like, oh, taken aback a bit, because you don't die wondering with Karen, but she was fantastic. And as we know, she was one of our best rearers in Victoria. And so from then on, she always reared race dogs for myself and Mum. And then once I went on the GRV board, I obviously couldn't own dogs, so she kept rearing for my mum and would always have a spot for Mum for any of her pups, which was fantastic. She was just meticulous, attention to detail, the repetition and routine which is required when you've got dogs, and she just absolutely loved it and had the passion for it. And you've got to have passion to be successful. She never took shortcuts, and I think that's why she was so successful, and everyone was desperate to try to get their dogs in there for her to rear. She's mentored so many of our younger trainers that we've got today, and I know that they are forever grateful to her, and like all of us, it's just, it's heartbreaking that she's not here anymore. And I think, this is the least we can do, is put her in our Hall of Fame. And part of me thinks, damn it, we should have done this before, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But no, she loved young people. They kept her young and vibrant, and she loved teaching people. But she was no fool, and she was a pretty, bit of a hard ass, but that was good, So, I just think it's devastating for our industry that this has happened to someone that we all loved and respected.
Now, the Hall of Fame induction, what do you think Karen would think about it?
I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking part of her would be, what's all the fuss about? Get over it. I've got dogs to go and feed up and let out and things. But I think seriously, deep down, she would be quite proud. And she's a very humble person, but I think she would be quite chuffed that she's been inducted. But she would be, it's just an award, but just sort of like, nah, what are you going on about? Because she was never a glory seeker or anything like that. She just very practical, down to earth, and I've just got to get on with it. And thanks very much, I'm off to do my dog sort of thing. So, yeah, I hope her family and friends are really proud of this day. And I think the whole industry will be proud as well that, we've recognised Karen in the best way we can. And she was just something else, I think. And one of my best memories of being with Karen was we were at the Sandown Girls' Night Out, and she had her mum there. We had a bit of a dance, Karen and I, and she was just up and about. She was so full of energy and life. I just loved her. So I can't say anything more than that. I think God bless you, Karen, and we really miss you.
First time I met Karen was at work experience through high school when I was in my early teens. I chose to go there knowing that she was passionate about greyhounds, as obviously I was, but I'd never met her before then, and what a fantastic experience it was, and we made a lifelong friendship through it. So we'd train her dogs, we'd walk them, free gallop them, take them out into the paddock. We'd do all the treatment. That's something Karen taught me a lot about, was ultrasound, magnetic field therapy, how to use a muscle contractor, all the points on a dog. But without doubt, Karen, she just put me on the right track. I was passionate about the breeding, as she was, and the training, so I sort of selected some of my own dogs, but she just helped me rear them to get the absolute best I could possibly ever get out of those dogs. She was just brilliant with dogs, and their welfare was everything to her. It's just, they had to be 100%. She'd check on them every day. Every single dog, she knew exactly who they were, where they were up to, what they ate, everything. She was amazing. Gee, she had so many of them. I remember when she won the Shepparton Cup with Dim Sum. I think that was something high up there. I remember too when I was doing work experience or soon after, when we were watching, we spent hours watching race videos of her dogs. She had a couple of dogs that were very fond to her, Proud Paul and Copper Lady, and she got both of those into a Melbourne Cup, which was a phenomenal achievement, and I know she's very proud about that. I think she'd be so proud and honoured to be given such an award. An induction into the Hall of Fame is about as big as it gets. But you know what, I don't think it could come to a more deserving person than Karen. She really deserves it, and yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's in there now. She deserves it.
Bill, can you tell me your very first memory of Karen Leek?
Yes. Firstly, can I say, Molly, thank you for the opportunity of speaking about Karen Leek. It's a bit of an honour for me. So thank you. I know you could have spoken to a lot of people. She's got a lot of people she knows, and she's so good and has been so good. Got a lot of friends. So thank you. More than happy to. My first memory. The first memory is honestly, it's meeting Karen and being the woman that she was. It was just so easy, so pleasant. She's just a natural lady that just basically opened up a home to myself and Serge, as you know, we're in this together. And just so friendly, so warm, so inviting, you know. The first thing she offered was a cup of coffee before we even started looking at a property and looking at our pups. And every time we went, it was always like that. So you just can't forget, and you can't forget the smile that she always had.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the smile is a key part. It's a smile that's just etched, I think, in everyone's brain. But you spoke about you and Serge and meeting Karen for the first time. What made you guys decide to continue on that relationship with Karen after seeing her property and wanting to get involved with your dogs and her?
Yeah. Oh, look, just after you meet Karen, you know, or met Karen and walked around the property, you could see that just the passion that she had for them. And, you know, and all the dogs that she had as her pets running around the home, they were all just beautiful pets. But the way the dogs were always kept, the way the dogs were always groomed, you know, we never went to see any of our pups and thought, geez, have a look at that one, you know, it's not getting looked after or anything like that. So just the way she looked after her own property and the pups, what she did, the way she handled them was just, for me, second to none. Yeah.
Without a doubt. Now, Karen obviously had a lot of success on the track, but she also chose to spend a lot of her time for the betterment of greyhound racing. Why do you think she chose to do that, especially through committees and mentoring?
Again, she just loved the industry. She loved the industry, and she always had this passion to make sure the industry thrived and survived. She was a believer that young people need to get into the industry. That's why she encouraged young people to come to her property, work on her property, help her, but they learnt a lot from her. Committees would be the same thing, you know. She used to get involved in it because she had such a passion that she just wanted to see the industry thrive, like all of us, I guess, that are in it.
And what do you think she would think about this Hall of Fame induction, this big celebration of Karen?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. What would she think? Look, she'd be proud, absolutely, no doubt. She would be proud as punch because, like I said, this is a reflection on what she did for the industry. Absolutely. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
She would definitely be thinking, what is all this fuss? She wouldn't want all this fuss over it, that's for sure. She'd be proud to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, no doubt, but she wouldn't want all this fuss. She was pretty low key when it came to that sort of thing.
She certainly was. Look, Karen was an absolute phenomenal woman, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to meet her and be mentored by her as well. But thank you so much for the kind words you've just said.
No problem. Absolute pleasure.
Sandra, can you tell me about your very first memory of Karen?
My first memories of Karen was when she was a teenager, and Angela Modra and I were friends, and we were training greyhounds at the time, and Karen was always around Ange. She loved the dogs, and she was helping Ange with the dogs all the time. She was actually wagging school to be with Ange and go to the dogs. Everywhere we went, Karen would tag along. She'd be like the apprentice.
Now, Karen had, obviously a little bit further along in her training career, Karen had a really strong and good reputation out of her kennels, not only for training but rearing as well. What do you think contributed to her success and her good name?
Karen's success was attributed, I think, to her passion for the greyhounds. She loved the dogs. Not having had a family of her own, her dogs became her family. And she just cared for them as you would for your own children. She treated them as her own children. So she was a perfectionist in looking after the dogs.
Can you tell me about some of her successful greyhounds?
Yeah, in the early days, when her and I worked together, I had boarding kennels at Roval, and she came and worked for me for about 10 years when we were in our 20s. So that was some time ago. And people started to recognise Karen had a few ordinary dogs, that how keen she was and how well she looked after them. And her very first good dog, David Gleeson bought for her. Her name was Rel Louise, and she was quite a good dog. And Karen also had another dog training for somebody else. It was called Proud Paul, and a dog of her own called Copper Lady. So they were her first really good dogs. But we're going back now 40 years, so probably most people won't remember those dogs.
And what about some successful greyhounds in recent times of Karen?
In recent times, well, in the last 20 years since she moved to Devon Meadows, when she focused solely on her own dogs, because before that she had boarding kennels and pet dogs and cattery and everything like that, she didn't have a lot of time. But once she dedicated her time just to her own dogs and a few select clients, and moved to Devon Meadows, she had a dog called Time Flies, who was a very good dog. And then I think the highlights of her career, if you ask Karen, would have been when she won the Shepparton Cup with a dog called Din Sun. And also, having been a very good friend of Judy Haley's, she wanted to win the Judy Haley Memorial. So she had a dog called Billy Rocket that actually did that for her. So that would have been the highlight of her career.
And what do you think Karen would think of this Hall of Fame induction?
She would be absolutely thrilled. It would be the highlight of her life, I would think, because to be recognised for your dedication in any way whatsoever is an honour, and I'm sure she'd feel it would be a great honour to be listed with the people that have been the top in the industry. So she would never have expected anything like this.
Perfect. Sandra, was there anything else you feel like you'd like to say about Karen?
I'd just like to say that Karen was an amazing person who helped many people in the greyhound industry, not just in the greyhound industry. She was great with her family. She was always such a giving, loving, caring person. And I'm just so pleased to be able to be here today to talk on her behalf.
Thank you so much, Sandra. That was absolutely lovely. A fantastic way to honour the champions of our sport. And that brings a conclusion to the GRV Hall of Fame for 2021. Coming up next, we're jumping into the highly sought after Stayer, Sprinter and of course, Greyhound of the Year. Welcome back to the 2021 Victorian Greyhound of the Year Awards. Next up, it is the Stayer of the Year. The panel have sat down, they've assessed all of the finalists who have raced over the 570 metre distance and further, being that staying journey. And there can only be one winner like every year. The 2021 Victorian Stayer of the Year is Houdini Boy.
Connections going for the 2-year double is second with Bobby the Brute. There's just some shuffling up there. Here's Houdini Boy getting up on the inside. Then came Christo Bale, Zach Manelli, well back Arizona Eyes. I'm Easy Boys coming to the turn. 3 deep Houdini Boy after Bobby the Brute. Last hurrah. Here's a go. Houdini Boy's flying. Houdini! Houdini Boy has got up to win the cup in a brilliant turn of foot over the closing stages from last hurrah. Set. Racing. Houdini Boy jumped away okay, led by 4 or 5 here. There's Run Like This, Houdini Boy. Houdini Boy drives around the outside up to second. Here comes Houdini Boy, poised
race to strike on the outside. Moving up quickly, Houdini Boy dashed the lead. Stanley Road's late at the end. Houdini Boy is safe. Just from Stanley Road on the zoom top, followed by Sunset Bursky.
I'm joined by the owner of the Great Houdini Boy, Mark Ruff, who has just taken out Victorian Stayer of the Year. Mark, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks, Molly. It's a pretty big shock, actually.
Look, I think it comes as no surprise to a few people out there. Houdini Boy was a cult figure almost. He had a reason for people to watch. Were you as excited to watch him as I suppose the Greyhound fraternity?
Oh, look, he was one of our first dogs, and during COVID, he was the highlight of things for us. I guess he was our COVID relief. So it was a heartbreaking thing when he broke down, but luckily for us, he's got a good life ahead of him.
Without a doubt. Now, he did, like you mentioned, break down. Ended up breaking his hock. But can you tell me how his recovery's been and how he's doing right now?
Yeah, I can. Not that I've seen him, but he's with New Haven Stud with Nick down there, and I believe he's got a bit of a limp, but he's enjoying life and he's enjoying his newfound occupation.
Absolutely, certainly an interesting life, an interesting and full life he'll lead from now on. But Mark, you mentioned that he was one of the first greyhounds you're involved in. What initially sparked your involvement in the dogs?
A kids' basketball tournament. Just a few dads were a bit bored, and we were spending the afternoon following the punt, and we said we should. And I've always had racehorses, and the boys wanted to get a racehorse. And I said, you know what, why don't we get a dog? Everyone agreed, but no one thought I would do it. And a few phone calls later, we ended up with Houdini Boy's mum, who we bought off Cal and Jackie, along with another dog that never quite made it. But Houdini's mum, being Peachy, was quite successful, enough for Cal to suggest that we should at least give her a chance in the breeding.
Without a doubt. Sounds like you've certainly landed on your feet with Peachy and then Houdini Boy. But how did the training, I suppose, partnership between you and the Greenos begin? Because it's certainly a good kennel to get into as first timers. Yeah,
look, it's a strange thing, and I might get some of these names wrong, but I have no involvement with greyhounds. And a mate of mine's, he was friends with someone who was, I think, the marketing manager at the time at GRV. And he said, oh, I'll ring him. Anyhow, that fellow was kind enough to ring me. And I said, I know nothing, but I only like to be involved with really good people. And he said, you know what, I know who you should be involved with. I just need to make some phone calls. And Kel rang me and we had a few chats, and I don't know, everything sort of just went from there. It was pretty simple with Kel. He's very, very easy to deal with. There's no mess, no fuss. And we just leave it to them.
Well, Kellen and the Greeno family are certainly the ultimate professionals. But back on to Houdini Boy, can you give me a career highlight for him, especially in the last 12 months?
Oh, look, again, if it was horse racing, I'd tell you the race and I'd tell you the distance and the time he ran. But with Houdini Boy, every race seemed to be a bit of an excitement for us. You know, he'd fall out of the box or he'd bump into 5 dogs on the way around, and he'd still seem to get there. So, I don't know, he just gave us great excitement. I know winning the Sale Cup for me was a really good thing because I actually grew up in Sale, I was born in Sale, and most of my family are still down there. So that had a little bit of meaning to it, but, you know, the Zoom Top, all those races. But even just his first wins, we got super excited by.
Absolutely. Well, he's certainly a greyhound to be very, very, that was made easy to be excited about, I should say. But Mark, congratulations with Houdini Boy's Victorian Stayer of the Year.
And future sire of the year, I think.
And future sire of the year. I love your confidence.
No worries. Look, thanks very much for the award and thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Mark. Now, everyone, make sure everyone who's tuning in at home, make sure you follow our hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 or VGA 2021. Congratulations to all of the connections of Houdini Boy. What an animal. Next up, we have the announcement of the Victorian Sprinter of the Year. In 2020-21, the voting panel for Victorian Sprinter of the Year sat down and they assessed greyhounds who raced less than 570 metres, making that sprint journey. The list of finalists were phenomenal, and I certainly do not envy anyone sitting on that panel. But the vote has come in. There is one winner, and the 2021 Victorian Sprinter of the Year is Shimmer Shine. Now I'm here with one half of the Dave Robb Syndicate, who have bred and owned Victorian Sprinter of the Year, Shimmer Shine. First of all, Dave, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Molly. That's the best news I've ever had for my whole life, as it were. Just fantastic news.
It sure is. Now, talk me through how we ended up with the breeding of our Sprinter of the Year in Shimmer Shine.
Well, I've always been a prophet of dam lines, and with the dam line of Shimmer Shine, you know, his mother Shimmer Song, Bob Cummings and I, under the same syndicate name, bred her, and with her, prior to that, her mother was Shimmer Goonie, and then we had the mother of Shimmer Goonie, and so on, and it just went back and back and back, way back to 1964. Where it evolved from dam to dam to dam. So if anybody is able to tell me anything different, I won't believe them, because dam lines are the most important thing of producing greyhounds of quality and speed. So we've just been very lucky that we took the right branches, as it were, from the dam line series, because there's many dogs that come from the same dam line. Mick and Rick Poolio, their line comes also from Famous Portrait, who is that particular dam line. And you see the magic dogs that they've left behind. But even now with Shimmer Song, her litter sister is Lala Shim, who's got the very brilliant Lala Kiwi and Lala, there's a lot of Lalas, but I don't know where they got that name from, because my eldest daughter, we call her Lala, and her name actually is Lara. So, yeah, so it's amazing how you get to produce names. So that's why we stuck with Shimmer as a name, because it became our prefix, which we have got reserved and buy and keep it up to date, etc., because it's easier for us to name our dogs.
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. It means that when you're looking through the form guide, people are able to follow your breed. But you spoke about the females being so important in your line, but there's also the handling and the work to actually get the greyhounds to the track.
Well, I really think that 70% of producing greyhounds is in the handling. And the handling doesn't mean you put your hand over the gate and give the dog a pat on the head 3 times a day. It means that you actually get them out, teach them to walk from a very young age, and encourage them into the kennels at a very young age, and let them sleep overnight in the kennels and rest up, and then put them out into the runs where they can tear up and down and burn up their energy and develop their muscles and their tendons and their legs and their bodies. And as a result, by doing all of those things, we even have our own bull ring at home, and to go down to the bull ring, it's about 120 metres from where the kennels are. We put the trailer on, put the pups in the trailer and tow the trailer down to the back of the bull ring, And by doing that, it means we're putting them in the trailer, out of the trailer, into the trailer, out of the trailer. And it's part and parcel of doing those things. And I've always believed in that people forget how important a dog's nose is. So the dog does everything with its nose. It smells, it goes to eat, it puts its nose in the food it's going to eat. It responds to the persons near it by putting their head up, either giving you a lick or other than that, sniffing. So if they're unafraid of you, which is another very important thing, like a great man in Ireland told me, David, he said, you got to be spitting on them. And I thought, gosh, what are you talking about? This was the famous Pat Dalton. And he said to me, look, spit on your hand, and every little pup rub your spittle on your hand on the dog's face, on his mouth, across his mouth, and he will get your smell. So that next time you go to either pat the dog or pick him up, you spit on your hand, he recognises you through your smell. So that's something I believe in fervently, and it hasn't done us any harm. Bob Cummings also, I even got Bob doing it, you know, which is amazing. But Bob's so patient with the puppies. He loves them to pieces. You know, he has Shimmer Songs in the house. She's got her own couch, and if you go to sit on the couch, she'll just about push you off it. But she's just a lovely, lovely dog, and that comes through in her pups too. Her temperament. Shimmer Song's temperament is magnificent. He's he's a lovely, lovely dog. You put him in the car, he goes to sleep. Put him in the kennels, he goes to sleep. All he wants to do is eat and run.
Well, what a fantastic quality in a greyhound. And we know he was obviously trained by Team Daly throughout his career. Can you talk me through when you and Team Daly realised you had something special in Shimmer Shine?
Well, it goes back to prior to Bob and I taking the pups to Sandown on one Thursday night. We had 4 of them at the time, all Shimmer Shine's 2 brothers and a sister, and Shimmer Shine himself, of course. And prior to that, we'd done our bull ring work with them from the time they were about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months old. And then eventually we went over to Cranbourne and gave them a look at the lure going around and all that. And they wanted to jump over the fence and get after it. But once you get out onto the track with them and hand slip them into the first turn and up the straight and then drag them around and pull them up, they were very apprehensive first go. They couldn't stop stargazing at everything, and everything that made a different noise than what they were used to. They'd not jump or shirk what they were doing, but they stop-started a bit, you know, like stop, go. But we went back about probably 3, 4 times, and then all of a sudden we used to be able to do a time on them, their run home time at Cranbourne. Anyway, Shimmer Shine this particular day, he took off like a rocket, and his run home time was better than any other dog that had won a race there for the last 6 weeks. So we thought, oh my God, this dog, he can go, because Shimmer Shine, as a younger dog, he showed this incredible acceleration, which he still does possess right up until we decided to hang up his gloves for the moment. But anyway, when I took him over to Sandown and handed him over, Corey and Andrea were there. Corey is Andrea's daughter. And they said, what's this one's name? And I'm saying, because we'd named them. We always name all our pups, name them straight away. As soon as they're able to be immunised, etc., and then you're able to name them, we believe in naming them, because we've got that belief that they'll all make it one way or another. You know, whatever speed they might have, one might be better than this one, etc. Anyway, Andrea, it's a bit of a joke with us. Andrea said, well, what's this one's name? I said, that one's the Rock. Yeah, okay. And what's this one, you know? And we said his name. And then the bitch Melody, Shimmer Melody. And then we get to Shimmer Shine. So we didn't say said, well, what's this one's name? We kept him back, the last one we're handing him over. She said, what's this one's name? I said, Group 1. And Andrea said, oh, yeah, ha, 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 tell me another one. But anyway, as it turned out, they rang me up about 4 weeks after they'd first got them. They said, I think you're right. And I said, oh, well, that'd be nice if it turns out like that, you know. And as time has shown, it has turned out like that. Like apart from the Group 1s, his other races, everywhere we took him, he flew. You know, first up on a track, never seen it before, you know, got lost a bit on the corner, but look at the clock and he still nearly runs the record. Yeah,
Without a doubt, he just had a phenomenal will to win, especially when he was first up at the track. And you look really early on in his career when he's breaking track records that the likes of Fanta Bale held. It's just something that is incredible.
Yeah, he's just, and I'll guarantee you, look, even though we haven't raced him and we've declared that, well, we're going to retire him and hang up the gloves, I'll guarantee you he was a bit sore, but once he's one of those dogs, if he has 2 or 3 weeks off, you could trial him in 2 weeks' time, he'd probably bend the watch again.
We might need to look out for him at the Phoenix.
Yeah, he's never lost it, you know. He's never gone backwards, you know, in his whole career. And in fact, as he's got older, he's got stronger. Like back, I think it was the end of May or thereabouts at Sandown, he won a race at Sandown, like a free-for-all. He hadn't raced for a few weeks because he had, you know, a bit of a stress time prior to it. Anyway, he didn't begin all that clean. He ran 5:08 early. I think he ran 18:60 to the back and he ran 29 dead, right? 29.00, and his run home time was 10:36, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, so, you know, he's one of those animals that he's given us great joy and a great thrill. The hardest part is in the last COVID 2 years, it's been hard to see him win races, you know, but, you know, thank God we've got it on TV, on Sky Channel or whatever.
Without a doubt, Dave, there is no doubt at all he is a phenomenal animal. First of all, congratulations on his Sprinter of the Year. And for everyone at home, make sure you are tagging along on our social media using the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 and VGA 2021. Congratulations to all connections of Victorian Sprinter of the Year, Shimmer Shine. Now, next up, it is what we've all been waiting for, Victorian Greyhound of the Year for 2021. Welcome back for the announcement of what is the pinnacle of Victorian Greyhound racing. It is the 2021 Victorian Greyhound of the Year. I would now like to reintroduce GRV Chair Peter Duncan to make that announcement.
Thanks, Molly. And now we're at the pinnacle event of the night, which is the Greyhound of the Year. And this is always a special night for whoever wins this. And this greyhound that we'll be winning tonight, along with all of our previous award winners, will just be immortalised now as one of the best greyhounds in Victoria. So I'm absolutely delighted to announce the Victorian Greyhound of the Year for 2021 is none other than the Dominator, Shimmer Shine.
Box 7, Shimmer Shine. Racing, and Shimmer Shine, a fraction slow to begin at weight. Shimmer Shine is bursting around the outsider. Archie Secret is well back in the race, spotted Blast and Kate. And Fabian is out in the straight, and Shimmer Shine is the leader. Clear over Jack's Bell, and Shimmer Shine, he's the brightest out, and he bedazzled in the run home.
I'm here again with one half of the Dave Robb Syndicate, who of course own and bred Shimmer Shine, our Victorian Greyhound of the Year. Dave, I caught you by surprise at giving you this news. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
To tell you the truth, Molly, I'm quite speechless and I'm very emotional.
Well, Dave, that's very rare for you to be speechless, but can you tell us just how much this means and would mean to you and Rob?
Oh, look, it's beyond words, Molly. Like it's a thrill beyond a thrill. You know, it's far greater than the Tigers winning the premiership, even though we did get a great thrill out of that for 3 seasons, but and they're not done yet, by the way. But to win something like this, not in my wildest dreams did I think that he'd be in a position to be able to get an award of this magnitude, because it's most certainly it would be without doubt the biggest thrill I've ever had in racing. It's just sensational. I'm so pleased and humbled by it.
And especially considering the calibre you think he'd been racing up against. There's the likes of the late Simon Told Helen. There's Tiggerlong Tonk. The names just go on. It's just incredible.
Oh, the group of dogs that have been around this year, Molly, they've been, and last year, excuse me one moment, you give me the old Terry stuff. But he's just, the calibre of the dogs around, you know, like Tommy Shelby also. You forgot about Tommy Shelby. Well, Shimmer Shine put Tommy Shelby to sleep in the Gold Bullion up there in Brisbane, and Tommy had every possible chance, but he couldn't. Once Shine landed on his feet and got going and motoring, Tommy couldn't get near him. So that's the way he's always been. He's never been run down in a race, you know. And I think also Jason Lincoln said one day that the longest price he'd ever started was $6.50. So that just also is an indicator as to the esteem that the dog has been held by the majority of the punters.
Do you have a favourite race, a highlight in his career for you?
Well, I think the Top Gun would have to rate really highly, because the quality of the field was, you know, it was a hand-picked field, and I don't believe anybody really could have whinged or moaned about not getting a start in that particular race. And he began quite nicely, and then Tommy Shelby was in the red, he was the check, and Simon, it might have been the blue or the yellow, I've just forgotten now, but he was challenged seriously by Simon Told Helen, who had that incredible mid-race speed, but Shine turned it on and he couldn't get around him, and he just tried to get to him again on the top corner at the top of the straight, and Shine just strode away. So that and the Gold Bullion in Brisbane, both of those, and also, look, all of the good races that he was in, like he went to Bulli, never seen Bulli as a pup, as a baby. He was only 20 months old. He's up against all these seasoned U-turn champion sprinters from New South Wales. And the first start he had around there, he ran third because he didn't know where he was going, and he got tracked wide. Then he got shuffled back into the corner, and he still ran on quite strongly to run third, which qualified him into the final the following week. Well, the following week he drew the pink, and they didn't know which way he went. He just blew them out the gate. So he went back there again in September, October last year in 2020, and he was having a crack at the $1 million chase again. And he ran a time which was only an eyelash slower than Aston DB's record at Bulli. And he hadn't seen the track for a year. So it didn't matter where he went, he could blow the tracks aside and blow them away, you know. So, you know, those sort of runs, even though we only saw them on Sky Channel because of the restrictions with COVID, they were just an absolute thrill. We were jumping in our lounge room and yelling and carrying on like yahoos, but it was, just like I just love racing and I love the dogs, which is evident by how they make me feel.
Oh, without a doubt, there is no holding back your emotions, especially at the moment. But last of all, Dave, we've spoken about the phenomenal achievements of Shimmer Shine on the track, but what does the future hold off the track for him with stud duties?
Well, we've sold quite a few of his straws. He's got quite a few pups on the ground, and I think someone close to your family that's got a few of them. Or a good size litter, I mean. And I think he's got about 14 or 15 litters on the ground, and he's got another 4 or 5 that are due to whelp within a few weeks. And apart from that, I think we sold about 7 straws last week. So, I see a very bright future for him because Ashley McDowell just sent me some pictures of these little pups out of Mapunga Midget that are only 4 or 5 weeks old, and you can just tell by looking at them they're beautiful. And a guy from New South Wales, Benny Howe, he just sent me some pictures yesterday of these. There was one litter that he had, and all he had was 5 bitches. So he sent me a picture of them. They've just turned 5 months old. You want to see how big they are? They're all going to be 30 kilos, 31 kilo bitches. So, they're tall and they're long. So I have a philosophy about greyhounds. They need long legs and long bodies. I call them, they need to be like Elle Macpherson. And as a result, they are streamlined. And if they've got that, they've only got to move those legs a bit and they'll cover the ground really quickly.
Well, I like that idea. I also wouldn't mind having a body like Elle Macpherson anyway. But Dave, thank you so much for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our Victorian Greyhound of the Year, Shimmer Shine. So make sure you tag along at home with the hashtag Victorian Greyhound Awards 2021 or VGA 2021. Well, what a night it has been. We've seen champions become immortal. We've seen amazing people who make our sport tick recognised for their efforts. So from all of us at GRV, we want to thank you for tuning in and supporting our second virtual Greyhound Awards. I also want to say a huge thank you to the team at Sportscast for making this event possible. They've done a fantastic job of tying all the interviews together and making our virtual awards look fantastic. We're already looking forward to 2022, and we are really hoping that we can celebrate with you in person. And remember, everyone, please stay safe, stay aware, stay racing. Good night.